Awesome. Well, I am super happy to introduce our last guest presenter for the day. We're going to be hearing from Matt from Ferda Farms. He was an apprentice through their program last year. And he's going to be talking a little bit about commonly used gear on the farm, how to maintain it. He's got some demo materials for you all, and then he's going to help us with our fun activity to wrap up the day. Yeah, Matt, if you wanted to start by introducing yourself and sharing anything about your experience at Ferda so far, and then feel free to jump right into it. I think, yeah, you can click or use arrows.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah. So I'm Matt. I work on Ferda Farms. It's an oyster farm in New Meadows River, which is in Brunswick. It's not a super big farm. We have like 300,000 oysters. We're actually right next to Dana's farm, so we see Dana a lot. But we grow mostly. I don't know if you guys have seen like the different ways oysters are grown, like floating bags, cages, or anything. You're familiar with that? So we grow ours mostly in the oyster cages. You might have a picture in here at some point. And then we do a little bit of, we ran out of space last year because of our seed. So we've been growing some in floating bags, actually on the lease next to Dana's. We're borrowing some space. But yeah, let's see. So the first kind of gear that you'll get and use on the farm is probably your gloves, boots, and your oil skins or foul weather gear, whatever you want to call them. A couple of different types of gloves you can use. You can use waterproof ones, like you see on the left here. It's kind of like the clammers use when they're going in the mud. Those are really good in the winter. Keep you a little warmer and keep you dry. But in the summer, you'll get sweaty in them. And if you get water in them, then they're just wet all day. So we like to use in the summer these ones on the right, kind of the ones you guys were shucking with, I saw, where they protect your hands from all the oysters and the cuts and whatever, but they'll let you get wet and then they dry out easier. Your hands are just going to be wet kind of regardless. So we kind of use that method just to keep them wet, and it makes it easier. Try to dry them out after you work or they'll get really stinky and you can get infections if you get cut or whatnot. So always try to dry them out. Boots, wear like extra tough or any sort of rain boots. You want them as high as you can get them, basically. There's always water going around. I'm gonna try to stay dry. Foul weather oil skins. There's a couple different kinds you can get depending on how much work you're doing and kind of what work you're doing. I would recommend getting the thicker stuff. There's some lighter stuff, which in the summer can be nice. But if you're going to spend the money on it, you might as well get the stuff that's going to last longer. All the cages and oysters will just kind of slice it up as you go. I go through like a pair a year at this rate. You can patch them if they're small holes or whatnot. They give you some stuff to patch them, but kind of depends how bad it is. Let's see. Yeah, so here's a picture of the oyster grow cages. So that's what we use out on the farm. They come in 4 or 6 bag cages. The 4-bagger ones are a little smaller. They're super easy to flip and whatnot. The 6-bagger ones get a little heavier, but you can use more or have more space on the farm kind of condense things. We use mostly 6-bag ones just because they are more space, more efficient. Flipping the maintenance on these, like basically every week we try to flip them, and what that means is we flip them up onto their pontoons so all the oysters are out of the water, and what that does is let all the biofouling on them dry off and try to kill them off, which keeps everything light and easy to keep flipping and easy to get in and out of. So we try to do that once a week. If you miss a week, things start to grow. You miss another week, things grow more, and then you can't even flip them, and then you're pretty much screwed. So you got to really stay on top of that. As we've learned, last year we got way behind and it was not fun. Things get really heavy. The other method, which some farms use, you'll probably see, are the floating bags. They're a little easier for like one person to handle. Basically, it's just a bag that would go in a cage, and then you put either these ones are plastic floats. We're doing on our bags right now are just little foam floats. We just tie them to the outside. And then you attach them to we have like a long line connected to 2 anchors, and you attach them to them. They have like, these are little plastic clips. We use online clips, they're called. Something like these, which just tie a little rope in and then squeeze it and it goes onto the rope. They're super quick, super easy. They can break, we've broken a couple, but they don't really break that often. One thing we always try to do on our farm is have like 2 layers of security. So we use the long line clip. We have 2 lines. We have like a line on this side of the bag and a line on the other side. And we use a clip on each side. So if one breaks, the bag doesn't go floating away. Yes, you can see here is like a bungee closure with like a little plastic hook. That's one way to do it. We do those with our bags that go in the cages, but with our floating bags, we find that those can come undone really easy and all the roots can spill out. So we do like 2 bungees that go over. Like they tie in and they close it like this basically. And that way it's a double redundancy. So if one breaks, you still have something holding it on. You won't lose all your oysters. Those are pretty much the 2 main types of gear people use for farming the oysters. Some farms have like flip farms, which is a little more complicated. It's not really it's not really common in Maine yet. But those like use the tide. So as the tide rises, the cage or the container holding the oysters will rotate up with the tide and then rotate down. And that allows them to like kind of get some movement and tumble them a little bit. Let's see. Maintenance on the tools, you got to use WD-40 on everything basically. We have like a box of tools. I actually brought it, but everything starts to rust when it's on the farm with the salt water. So whenever you need to use a tool, use it. And then we keep a little can of WD-40 on the boats and you just spray it down and then put it away. Try to keep it dry, but it's gonna rust. So always have WD-40. The other thing we use a lot, the hog rings and hog ring pliers are probably the most common thing we use and use to fix things, use to build things. Basically, it's just like a little stainless steel ring or half ring. You put it in these pliers. They have like nice little slots for them. And then this is what we use to build our bags. Maybe. So on bottom here, it was open before like these ones. So you put it on the thing, cut the slits on the sides, and then you just basically go around and congregate it closed. These will rip at some point in the next 5 years or something, however long it takes. And then basically we always have hog ring pliers and hog rings on the boat. If you see a hole in them, you just hog ring it, fix it. That's probably the most common thing that happens. Sometimes the bags just start ripping in other places. So you just hog ring, fix that. Or cages start breaking, we'll use zip ties and like sometimes the pontoons start to fall off, zip tie those on. It's pretty much it in terms of maintenance. It's pretty much just fixing little holes and stuff with zip ties or hog rings. I think that's all I got in the slideshow. We can show you guys kind of make a mag for you. This is how they come, just flat pressed. We get ours from France, but Brooks Scrap Mill makes them locally. They're not very good and they kind of degrade. unfortunately. Kind of this. I think we made this, but you can get them from company that makes the bags. It's like a standard size. Basically, just slide it on. Some farms put their bags in an oven before they do this, and it makes them more flexible. Or you can just leave them out in the sun if you want. That's on there. You got to cut the corners. Flip it. The hog ring pliers. Couple hog rings. And you can kind of see like here, here, and here, there's like a little cutout in this wooden thing. That's kind of where we try and hog ring them. Allows us to get the pliers in there.
You guys want to get up closer while he's doing this? You can.
I always have some more empty bags if anyone wants to try it after. It's not very exciting, but we've been doing a lot of this and something you'll probably have to do. Just kind of go around the side. The bottom's finished, so now we're making this right now at our farm. We're making floating bags. So we're doing the double bungees.
Right.
So for this, we go down. Like we go across, I think it's like 8 and down like 11. Then you come in, go around one of these holes so that if one of them breaks, there's another one. Just tie an overhand knot. And then use your old hog rings. Do the same thing on this. Yeah. So that, I would do another one over here, making this completely. And that's your closure. Kind of comes up and around. You can get your glove in there easily and slide up after taking it on and off. Actually works super nice. And then basically for a floating bag, you just take the foam. And you can do it either, some people do them on like one side or the other. We do them on the side so we can flip the bags. It's a little easier and it stays a little more level. if you have big plastic floats, people will do them on bottom. And then you can actually flip them out of the water and the oysters will dry. If you don't, like these, the oysters will never get dry, but if you flip the bags enough, like the sides of the bags will dry. And that'll keep some of the fouling off, and then you're just gonna have to take them out and kind of go through them to clean up the fouling. But that's basically it. Does anyone have any questions? Anyone want to try making a bag? It's not that exciting.
How much of the summer, like how much of your time is spent making cages and bags and preparing all of those materials?
In the summer.
Or I guess
in
throughout the year.
summer, very little. Throughout, like, usually we'll be on the farm pretty much every day until like the end of December. And then things will start to slow down and we'll do a bunch of gear work. We're getting a new lease in August, hopefully, where we'll have like, I think 4 or 6 more lines. So we've been doing a lot of gear work, even we're gonna be doing it through the summer, just kind of getting ready for that. So we have a whole pallet of these bags. It goes up to like here, I think it's like 800 bags that we're gonna build throughout the summer eventually. So we're gonna spend a lot of time doing it, but it's not too bad. Let's see. It's nice when the weather sucks. You can do it inside or whatnot, so. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.